Leaving your wife for her sister has to be one of the dirtiest moves that a man can make. But today, the ultimate question is whether this wife can get $300 back for pornography charges that this husband incurred during the marriage. Let's jump right into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a full plate of tacky with a side of hot mess.
Not a side of hot mess.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. And then you're gonna tell me how it got that way. Mr. Whitcomb, you are married to Ms. Whitcomb. Ms. Whitcomb, this is your sister, Talia Maryland. Yes. You divorcing her to marry her.
Yeah.
How did we get there, Mr. Whitcomb?
That's what I would like to know.
I met Asia and Talia about 12 years ago through a chat line. Asia had showed up with her sister. When I initially saw her sister, I knew I was physically attracted to her, wanted to get to know her and stuff like that. But I felt like I was already committed to, since Asia came by, I was already committed to, talking with her and finding out about, where that would go or whatever.
So from the beginning, he knew that he was attracted to the sister, but decided to still pursue the woman he started with and marry her. But if he knew he was attracted to the sister, he did not have to marry her. He could have continued the date with the wife and then later on broke up with her and got with the sister then. Why did you have to get married to this lady and end up in divorce court?
So, we talked and, we were together for a couple years. Eventually, we ended up getting married.
Hang on. It sounds like a very noble thing to do, is saying, the woman that I was talking to on the chat line showed up, but I felt compelled to talk to her, even though the sister that came along, well, for security, I'm sure.
Right.
You meet a guy you don't know, you bring somebody else, case it goes sideways, that you continue to pursue a relationship with her out of a sense of honor.
I would say, yeah. I didn't want to hurt her feelings since she already had came to see me or whatnot.
But you hurting her feelings now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You think her feelings are hurt today?
Right.
Oh, I'm sure they are, and I've apologized for it.
Ms. Whitcomb, is that generally an accurate version of what occurred?
Yes, all that, but we met them with 4 guys. He was with 3 other gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
My sister ended up with 2 of those other guys, and then eventually his brother.
Oh my God.
His brother.
So now it's making sense why he didn't pursue the sister in the beginning, because apparently she was preoccupied with 3 guys. She didn't have time for him. So it sounds like he settled for the sister.
Why did you marry Mr. Whitcomb?
Please let us know.
Were you really in love? Was he the guy you thought he was?
Well, the 19-year-old self that I was, I thought I was. I did love him.
But you say he was a total loser when you met him.
Yeah, he was.
In what respect?
Not much better now. Well, he was living with his mom and, didn't finish school. And back then, I thought I could change him to make him a better person.
We women do that all the time.
Oh, yeah. I know better now.
Rescuing people and all that kind of stuff.
So it makes complete sense that she got with him when she was 19 years old, because why would she stick with this guy who she believes is a loser, and then he continues to be a loser later on in life, and then he goes on to leave you for your sister? I feel bad for her, but luckily she is taking it on the chin and moving right along. This is not bothering her.
What I don't understand is you weren't attracted to her. You liked her sister. I can understand being polite to her during the initial meeting because you were talking to her on the phone. Right. But after that, you call, hey, it's not what I thought, and then go call
I agree
her.
with that.
What possessed you to marry her?
Why?
She was right. I wasn't nobody or whatnot. I didn't have anything. Ended up getting kicked out because I came from a broken home and all that. But she did change me. Her family did change me. I went and got my GED.
So he is more concerned about the family. He could have kept the family with the other sister. He did not have to marry the wife to get what he was wanting out of this family.
Yeah.
And they showed you a better way.
Yeah.
Right? And in response, you dumped this woman and take the other one.
Well, things changed,
Should have started with the first one.
She wasn't as supportive as I thought she would be. It turned that it was her family, her mom and her dad, that was really the ones that were telling me that I could change myself, I could be a better person.
So since it was the family in general, any sister will do.
No.
The sister hopping.
I don't want anyone to think that I was sister hopping or anything.
You
like
are
that,
sister hopping.
I definitely, it was a marriage of convenience. They were.
This marriage was a marriage of convenience?
Yeah.
Not for me, for him, apparently.
Well, obviously, yeah. But she just stopped. She stopped caring or whatnot. She stopped taking care of herself, taking care of the home. Especially after, her mother had passed away and we ended up getting the house.
Her mom passed
and stuff
away.
like that. She just let everything go, including herself.
Ms. Whitcomb, do you acknowledge at all kind of that you deflated at some point in time and ceased to be fully engaged in a marriage?
I do. I do.
Okay.
Because I was
she can
depressed
acknowledge
that
it.
my mom had passed away. But when we had
Oh my gosh,
our
the
daughter,
crying.
'cause our daughter's first birthday, my mom passed away 2 weeks later. So
Wasn't
I was
expecting the
you know,
crying.
kind of thinking I was kind of in depression, and our relationship wasn't going well, and he wasn't there like I needed him to be there.
So he is judging her, talking about she let herself go when her mom passed away and she had their daughter. And he couldn't keep it in his pants long enough to be there for his wife. He decided to go after the sister. I guess the sister was done with his brother and the other two guys she started off with.
I would take care of my daughter. The house wasn't always clean,
That's
but
all
it
you
never is
can
when you
do.
have a toddler running around.
Yes.
But he stopped caring, so I stopped caring.
I got you. She says you weren't supportive in her time of need. Do you acknowledge that you may have been a little less caring and compassionate than you could have been?
I mean, I probably could have been more compassionate,
Yes,
but
you
without
absolutely
having
could have.
a steady male role model until I met her father.
What does that
I was
have to
doing what I
do
saw
with
him
being
do,
there for
which
your
was go
wife?
work, and
Right,
bring the money home while her mother, took care of the household. And I thought we
Ms.
could make it
Marilyn,
like
why don't you
that.
come in? Is this a
So he basically felt like she wasn't keeping up with the household enough, so he decided that he was going to cheat on her with her sister? Like, where do these men get the audacity?
around the time when Ms. Marilyn crept back into your consciousness?
It was actually before all this.
How long before?
Like a year and a half, 2 years afterwards. But she had always been on my mind. I had always been.
You would
like,
never stop thinking about her.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay, she would come over for holidays, or just come over. Can you get her out of the house? I cannot stand her. Why did you marry him? I cannot stand him.
So they act like
hated
they didn't like
for
each
all these
other.
years.
Is that
So-
accurate? Ms. Marilyn, I'm going to ask you, is that an accurate picture of how you two engaged, or was that just a clever ruse on your part?
Well, there was a subconscious layer there because I told myself that it was off limits to be with your sister's husband, or
It
even
should
when we
be off
originally
limits.
met them.
Or anybody's husband.
Or-
Right.
Yeah, or, yes, for that matter, a whole nother show.
Definitely not your sister's
Any
husband.
of that.
As a side
So
note.
I said, he's for my sister. They're together. I was actually with his
So
ex-best
how
friend
did
for
you
10
end
years.
up with it? Oh, okay.
We never got officially married, but we were pretty much common law married in the state we live in. And so I said, no, he's off limits. For 8 years, I didn't look him in the eye.
So for 8 years, she was faithful to her guy. And then when she broke up with her guy, now all of a sudden she's interested in her sister's guy. Like, her relationship lasted long enough. Let me go and see what that's about. She's trying to act like she was all noble and respecting her sister's marriage when it sounds like she was more just respecting her own relationship. And then when she got out of her relationship, then that's when she went all mosey and all in her sister's relationship.
Holidays and birthdays.
When did you two start inappropriately touching one another?
Right. Get to the point.
When that actually goes right before they got married. I tried to tell her how he had come on to me years before, and she chose to believe him because he denied it. I was with my mom. My mom was still living at the time. The day before their wedding, she chose to believe him, and she chose him over me.
Why didn't you, sometime before the day before your marriage,
Right.
kind of sit her down, tug her coattail, and say, hey, I don't think this is cool?
Oh, I did, because he also had, as far as how we were raised to be all kinds of Destiny Child independent women. That's how my parents raised us. Don't depend on no man to take care of you, this, that, and the other. She was obviously out to lunch during those conversations because she got with him with baggage. He already had 4 kids with 2 other baby mamas. And so I was like, he's off limits.
How is she going to judge her sister for being with this man because he had 4 other children with several different baby mothers when she's now coming into the situation where he now has at least 5 other children now and her sister is one of the baby mothers? Like, why would you want to be involved in this kind of situation after you judged your sister years before when she was in a less worse situation?
When your parents were telling you to be independent and don't go with a loser, and now you're picking up that loser that you're telling her.
And he hasn't improved in years.
Explain that. I mean, is it that she's done all the hard work, fixed him up, pulled him out of the loser category, so now
Not
you're
quite.
worthy, he's worthy of you since she's done
Right.
the hard work to get him where he needs to be?
That's actually not it at all. Also, what my parents
Sounds that
taught
way.
us is to, as far as in life, be happy. Be happy doing what you want to do and being who you want to be with.
Girl, so you gonna be happy with your sister's husband? Where they do that at?
I've always worn the pants and the skirt in the relationship. I'm educated. Like I said, we were in the same class together. That's how we linked back up. She wanted to play a role that my mom did play. As she was saying earlier, my mom took care of my dad as far as take care of house and home. That means your man, your house, and then, your children.
So she thinks that she's better than the sister because she works and is going to be taking care of the home. That doesn't make any sense at all.
That's how we were raised. She was obviously, again, out to lunch during that time frame because
How can
that's
you
where...
you know, she was out to lunch. She was out to lunch when my parents taught me this. Did your
Judging
parents teach you
other
about
people.
dignity? Did your parents teach you about loyalty? Did your parents teach you about fidelity and life and family?
She's
Were
only
you
loyal
out
to her
lunch
man.
when they said be a good person? Were you out to lunch when you said don't screw another person's husband? Were you out to lunch when you say put family first? You should be at least a little ashamed.
A
You
little
should be
bit.
at least a little embarrassed.
Yes.
And on top of that, when you take somebody else's husband, don't point at her and said she lost her husband because she was out to lunch when my parents were teaching her the right lessons.
But
That's just
she
so
would have never even.
rude.
Okay, the judge totally ate with that read because she's talking about and judging her sister, talking about she didn't go and be a go-getter and make money. But girl, you are dating your sister's husband. You have no room to judge someone else for their life choices because your life choices suck.
When he first came to me, I said they're gonna blame me. As far as me being the sister, I'm the one that should know
You know
better.
You
why?
should be blamed.
We're blaming you because you're wrong.
And you should
Right.
have
The message
loyalty
was
to your
already over.
sister.
And I knew that.
Because if
When he came to me.
was reversed and her husband came to me, I'm like, you better get away from me.
And I
You're
did
my
for
sister's
years. I
husband.
didn't look him in the eye for
But
8
eventually
years.
you gave in.
And let's not forget, she was in a whole nother relationship before she gave in. Like, you're not supposed to give in to your sister's husband ever. Anybody's husband for that fact. So essentially, she wasn't loyal to her sister for those 8 years. She was loyal to the man that she was with for 8 years.
How is your relationship with the remainder of this family given your change of allegiance here?
Well, the older sister, of course, dislikes me because of the whole situation.
Oh, she
which,
never liked you before that.
which I'm not worried about. But the main person I wanted to talk to was the father or whatnot, and I did, you know, with.
He don't like you either.
And what did he say?
He was like, as long as you guys are happy, and I take care of my children.
And have you been taking care of your children?
You won't let
Ms.
us see
Whitcomb,
them.
now I'm giving you a little leeway because they did you ratchet and wrong, but you're gonna have to let me
Okay,
handle this
I
for
will.
you, okay? So do you take care of your children?
Right. Those are questions that need answers. Do you take care of the children?
When she allows it, because the thing is like I was recently put on child support. I was giving her
What does that
you know,
have to do
money
with
orders and
anything?
stuff like that. But I haven't been coming by just because of the situation, because she has a new fella that I've heard, or she kind of insinuated she was talking before I even left.
Paying child support has nothing to do with whether you are seeing your children or not. Those are two separate legal issues. If you don't pay child support, it doesn't mean that you can't see your kids. And if you do pay child support, it does not mean that you can't see your kids or that you should be able to see your kids. He needs to be going to court and getting a visitation order if the wife and her new guy is interrupting his ability to see his children.
What's that got to do with you not seeing the kids?
Exactly.
It's the situation now, you know. It's always a fight.
Do
It's
you
always
not
name
let him
calling.
see children? And I'm gonna hop on you about that if that's true.
That is not the case. He has not. She's been put in jail for beating him up
Wow.
a few times this year.
Are
Incorrect.
you serious?
Incorrect.
This just gets
Incorrect.
worse.
Incorrect.
No.
Did you go to
Lie.
jail this year?
I was there when they.
So the
hauled her
answer is
off.
yes. What was the charge?
It was assault cohabitant because we did have a place together. But the thing is, because he does have a conscience and I do as well, the fights would stem from her.
Girl, wait a minute now. So you said that you didn't go to jail for domestic violence, yet you went to jail for assault on a cohabitant, which is domestic violence. You live with him, you assaulted him, and they arrested you for it. So yeah, you did go to jail for beating him. And talking about you two have a conscience, so the fights stem from the sister, does not excuse your behavior to cause yourself to beat on that man.
Putting things in his mouth as far as, you want to get back with the family and Talia's holding me here.
So
and I just
nothing you
want-
do is, no matter how ratchet or wrong, even if it's an arrestable offense, it's not your fault, it's her fault.
Exactly.
Yes, the sister takes no accountability at all. But for the wife to say that she's not letting him see the children because of the domestic violence between her sister and her husband, which sounds crazy to say, then she needs to be going to court and getting that in writing that she does not want the children around her sister because they have physical violence within their relationship. Domestic violence is a reason to limit visitation with children. So she's completely in the right, but she needs those court orders to support her.
Before I get done with this thing, I'm gonna ask you, Ms. Whitcomb, you came here, and I'm sure this is general principle money. I get that, and I understand that, but and I'll award it if it's appropriate. You want $300 to cover his porn bill.
Yes,
Explain that to me.
Wow.
I was in the hospital having our first daughter. So he takes off like pretty much almost as soon as she's born. And
That doesn't
about
surprise
3 weeks
me.
later, I get our cable bill in. They had to have a separate page of all the porn movies that he had watched.
Mr. Whitcomb, what is your version of that event?
Yeah, I did order porn movies, but it wasn't no $300. But we didn't even have a sex life, and that was one of the reasons why.
Then
I
she
wa-
was in-
No, I'm
she
talking
was-
about
she
before
just had
that.
a baby.
I'm talking about before that. I'm talking about after that. You know, we didn't even have a sex life. So, And it wasn't no $300, but I could come up in here and start asking.
He's just making excuses after excuse after excuse. If you were so unhappy, leave the relationship.
For all kinds of
Because
bills
he was
that
like,
she
hey,
ran
you
up
want to
and-
give me some?
How
I'm like,
old is your
"No."
daughter?
She just turned 6 on Friday.
Okay.
No birthday
okay,
present,
okay.
by the way.
I got you.
But
You suffer the sin you sow, Mr. Whitcomb and Ms. Marilyn, and I assume that you're going to suffer greatly at some future date. I don't know if he's going to find somebody else more attractive than you. I don't know if you're going to pop him in the head and go to jail. I don't know what's going to go on. But, Ms. Marilyn, I would ask you to do this. I have this rule called the rule against teching. And teching is when you find in the whole existence of your sin and your failures and your faults and your wrong, you can find one little thing that you can attribute to somebody else, and you assert that absent that little wrong, all my great sin would not have happened. I asked you not to tech anymore.
Right.
You have to
She
face
takes
what
no
you've done,
responsibility.
or else it's gonna fall all over you. You can't keep claiming grand greatness, goodness when you're doing the wrong thing. You just can't.
I agree.
You should feel humbled and low and sad, and you should feel tacky and wrong and bad, and you should move on. But let me tell you something, you let that man see those kids. As long as he's a good
Yes.
father,
He's not, though. He's not.
Oh. Be a better man, Mr. Whitcomb. I don't know what's going on. So far, you showed up a jerk in here, right?
Yeah.
So far, you showed up a guy who does what he needs above what other people need. And to me, normally, that does not indicate good father material. You may have a piece of you separated out to be good, and you assert that for your children. That may very well be true, and I hope so. I hope so, because,
I just don't feel bad. I know she's my soulmate, and I am going to
Then
marry
you
her.
shoulda
She's
dated
my
her
best
I
friend.
got you.
first.
I know you don't feel bad. Attila Hunt never felt bad either. 6 years ago, he did too much porn. I can't tag him right now. I wish you'd have found something else, because I sure would have loved to give you some money, but I can't. Let him see those kids, be a better man, and find a conscience somewhere.
Right,
We know
for the
coverage
sister.
matters. This matter is adjourned.
That case was absolutely insane. From the sister wanting to be involved with her sister's husband, to the man watching pornography, to the man not seeing his children. There are a couple of legal issues we need to discuss to get to the bottom of this case and determine whether the judge was right or wrong in ordering that the wife does not get any money for those pornography charges. Let's first start with the domestic violence. As I explained earlier, if there is domestic violence between the husband and his new partner, the mother is completely in the right to try to limit visitation so that her children are not exposed to violence. Her issue is that she needs to actually get that in writing so that he can know why his visitation is limited. He might even just have supervised visits or visits with the sister not being allowed to be there. But she cannot just outright not allow the children to see him because he has this domestic violence issue going on with her sister, his now fiance. And now let's jump into the child support. Child support does not equal visitation. Visitation does not equal child support. So with him paying child support or being ordered to pay child support does not limit or give him more rights to see his children. If he is having trouble seeing his children because mom is preventing him, then he can go to court and get those visitation orders. Because of the domestic violence, his visitation likely will be limited because the children should not be exposed to physical violence, so he can get supervised visitation, or he can get visitation with the sister not being around. And lastly, the wife was probably asking for the money as a breach of fiduciary duty. Essentially, the husband was using their community property money to pay for things that the marriage does not agree with, i.e. the pornography charges. $300 that they had to pay for that she probably did not agree to paying for because he could not control his urges. Now, the breach of fiduciary duty argument is very weak because 1, it happened 6 years ago, and 2, they already talked about how the husband was the breadwinner. So technically he is the one paying for those charges, although the money is considered community property and the value is very low. $300 6 years ago. It doesn't make sense to order her the money. If she would have asked for it earlier on, prior to the 6 years, maybe the judge would have been able to give it to her. But like I said, it's already a weak argument. It's a low amount of money. He was the breadwinner anyways, and it was 6 years ago. So I do agree with the judge that she should not have ordered that money for the husband to pay her 6 years later. But anyways, y'all, if y'all made it this far into the video, let me know what you think and let me know which legal consequences was the most surprising to you. If you are not already, make sure you subscribe. If you have not already, make sure you like, comment, and hype this video. I will see y'all all in the next video. Bye.